Welcome students. Welcome to our online video tutorial class. I have already made one video on this chapter, that is the living world of class 11. That is the first chapter. I think you have seen the previous video where I have discussed up to the point, that is the three domain concept or three domain classification of life. So after the three domain concept or three domain classification of the life, the next video I am just making today, and I am starting from the point that is taxonomy and systematics, which is the next point after the three domain concept of life. So first of all, when we will be starting with taxonomy and systematics, this portion, we have to know about what is taxonomy, what is systematics, and whatever their relationships. So first we are starting with the meaning of the word taxonomy. First of all, you can see that in the taxonomy you can break this word into two parts. First one is taxis and second one is nomos. Taxis word means arrangement and nomos means rule. So the arrangement rules of the organisms are commonly known as taxonomy. So the definition you can make from this meaning, this is the stream of biology where we are discussing about the arrangement rules of various organisms, that is commonly known as taxonomy. Here from the meaning we can make the definition. Okay, so the arrangement rules of the organisms are known as, or classification rules of the organisms are commonly known as taxonomy. This is a stream of biology where we are studying about this. This term, it was proposed by first the taxonomist whose name was A.P. de Candolle or Candolle. So this specific taxonomist first proposed about the word taxonomy. Clear? Or rather you can say these specific scientists have proposed the word taxonomy. Now we will be going for discussing about the states of taxonomic classification. Keep it in your mind, when we are arranging or we are categorizing the organisms in various small taxons or categories, there should be some specific steps. So there are actually four different steps you can see here in this board. First one, that is the characterization, second one identification, third one classification, and fourth one, that is nomenclature. So whatever these four steps, let's discuss. First one, characterization. That means in this step we will be seeing the morphological and anatomical features of the organisms. So that will be considered as characterization. Next, there should be written identification. What is identification? Identification is none other than based on those morphological and anatomical features, we are identifying them. That this organism is belonging from that phylum, this organism is belonging from that class. That identification step we are doing here. Third, classification. That means after identification, just when we are getting any similarity or dissimilarity with other organisms, automatically we can classify them in another category. Clear? And the fourth one, that is the nomenclature. That is, we are providing the common name as well as scientific name to that organism, so that easily we can track that specific, or we can easily trace that specific organism where it has been placed. So these are the four steps of the taxonomic classification: characterization, identification, classification, and nomenclature. Next, there is a point, that is definition of taxon. What is the taxon? This is the structural and functional unit of taxonomic classification. Each and every unit of classification is commonly known as taxon. Okay. Now the next point is written, that is the definition of taxonomic categories. So how many categories actually there during the time of classification? There are total 7 categories. Starting from kingdom, then phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. So these are the total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 categories are present, and these 7 categories, each and every category is commonly known as taxon. Clear? Now we will be just discussing about whatever the definition of each and every category. Always keep it in your mind. I am just telling you one formula. When you will be saying the definition of any of the taxonomic category or taxon, you will just consider the next taxonomic category within its definition. How? See carefully. Kingdom definition, if it will be asked, you will be writing like this: the accumulation of multiple organisms belonging from various phylums sharing some common characteristic feature is known as kingdom. Understood? So when the kingdom definition we are saying, we will be considering that multiple organisms belonging from different phylums who are sharing some common characteristic features are known as kingdom. If you consider the class also, or if you consider suppose phylum definition, on that time class we have to bring in its definition. The different organisms belonging from various classes are sharing some common characteristic features are known as phylum. As an example, the definition of class: the different or various organisms belonging from various or multiple orders sharing some common characteristic features are known as class. Same definition of order, the organisms belonging from various families sharing some common characteristic features are commonly known as order. Same like for the family definition, the different organisms or various organisms belonging from various genus sharing some common characteristic features is commonly known as family. If you consider the definition of genus, then also you have to consider the species, such as the different organisms belonging from different species are sharing some common characteristic features are known as genus. So like that, the definitions of this each and every taxon or taxonomic category you can make. Now you can ask me one query, okay sir, you have told up to the definition of genus, but you are not saying the definition of species. So what should be the definition of species? Always keep it in your mind, after species there is another category or taxon is coming, that is subspecies. So when we will be saying the definition of species, always keep it in your mind, we will be considering subspecies in its definition. So how we will consider? The various organisms or multiple organisms belonging from various subspecies sharing some common characteristic features are known as species. Like this. Clear? So this is the definition of each and every taxonomic category, starting from kingdom up to species. But keep it in your mind, so for writing the definition of the species, we have to always consider subspecies because it is present under species. Going for next point, that is taxonomic hierarchy. Hierarchy word means the arrangement, the stratification of various organisms in various levels. So that is commonly known as hierarchy, that is the arrangement. Okay, so taxonomic hierarchy means these specific 7 categories or 7 taxons are actually arranged in a pattern, in a staircase-like pattern, that is commonly known as taxonomic hierarchy. Okay. This specific hierarchy concept was first proposed by the taxonomist Carolus Linnaeus. That's why this hierarchy name has been given also Linnaean hierarchy. You can see here it's written Linnaean hierarchy because Carolus Linnaeus has first proposed about this taxonomic hierarchy system. Now the point is, what is the arrangement of the taxons in this hierarchy? You can see there is an oblique arrangement or staircase-like arrangement. Why it is an oblique arrangement or staircase-like arrangement? The reason behind it is you have already understood that under kingdom various phylums are present. So that's why after kingdom the phylum has been written like this. After phylum various classes are present within the phylum. Various orders are present within a single class. Various families are there within single order. Various genus are present within single family. And various species are present within a single genus. And various subspecies will be present within a single species. So for that reason, for making us understand, he has made this kind of hierarchy system. Staircase-like arrangement, where we can understand that each and every taxon is present under the previous taxon. Like that, the phylum is under kingdom, class is under phylum, order is under class, family is under order, genus is under family, and species is under genus, and subspecies is under species. Okay, according to Linnaean hierarchy or according to taxonomic hierarchy, species we will be not representing, only during when we will write the definition of species, on that time only subspecies will be including here. Otherwise, in taxonomic hierarchy or when we will be talking about the taxons, on that time subspecies will not enlisting. Clear? Next thing, importance of taxonomy. What is the importance of taxonomy? You have already understood. This is the arrangement rule of the organisms. So the steps of the taxonomic classification, those 4 steps we can consider as an importance. By taxonomy, we can characterize various organisms. Morphological and anatomical features can be studied for any of the organism. By the help of taxonomy, we can identify that organism properly, from which category it can belong. We can determine that, or we can also create some idea on which specific phylum it can belong. By taxonomy, we can classify the organism, that means from which specific class, from which specific phylum that organism can belong, that idea we can get. And the last one, we can give name obviously by the help of taxonomy, because there is a step that is nomenclature. We can provide the scientific name in Latin as well as we can provide the common name also to them. So these 4 steps of taxonomic classification should be the importance of the taxonomy. So these 4 points only you will just write in the importance of taxonomy in a elaborated manner. Next point, definition of systematic. So up to this taxonomy portion is getting over. After taxonomy, I have written there is the next part, and that is very much small in respect to taxonomy, that is systematics. What is systematics? Systematics is none other than, it is also another biological stream where we are actually studying about the relationship in between organisms. The different organisms belonging from different taxons or different taxonomic categories, if we will try to connect them by determining their relationship, whatever the common features are present in between them or whatever the uncommon features are present in between them, to study those specific things we need to enter within the biological stream, that is the systematics. Clear? Within the systematics, first we have to again study about the importance of systematics. Again the same point you will be raising here, whatever you have written in the definition, to study the interrelationship among organisms. Systematics is required, and not only to study the interrelationship in between existing organisms. If you want to study the interrelationship between existing organism with the extinct organism, okay, that also can be done by the process of systematics. That means systematics is giving us the idea about the relationship in between organisms who are existing, as well as they are also giving idea about the evolutionary process. Why or how? Because when you are trying to relate any existing organism with the extinct organism or any primitive organism, automatically if you get the relationship, automatically you can trace the evolutionary pathway that how the modern organism has come. So that specific importance also systematics has. So systematics is always responsible for determining the relationship in between existing organisms from different taxons, as well as for determining the relationship in between the existing organism with the primitive organism which was or which were surviving. Clear? Which is extinct now. Next and the last point, that is the relationship in between taxonomy and systematics. We have already understood taxonomy is the stream of biology where we can organize the organisms or we can arrange the organisms in different categories. And in systematics, what we have understood, the relationship in between the organisms. So now try to understand properly. If you are organizing or arranging the organisms in various taxons by the taxonomy, it will be easier to relate them, or it will be easier to study their relationship properly. That means if the taxonomy will be done properly for any of the organism, it will be helping you when you are performing the systematics for that organism. That means taxonomy is helping systematics. If you think just in reverse way, that systematics is also helping the taxonomy. How? If you know the relationship in between the organisms, suppose any organism you have obtained, after that you have understood, okay, this organism is related, almost morphologically related with another organism. So it will be easier to categorize that organism, to classify that organism, or to arrange that organism properly. That means if the relationship is also known to you, it will be easier to categorize that organism or classify that organism. So systematics is also helping the taxonomy. That means you will be first writing about how the taxonomy is helping systematics. The classification of the organism is always helpful for determining the relationship among organisms. And next you will be saying the systematics, if it will be done, or systematics if it will be understood, it will be easier to classify that organism if it is not classified properly. Then at the concluding remark you will write taxonomy is helping systematics and systematics is also helping taxonomy, that is vice versa. So taxonomy and systematics both are interdependent on each other. They are not independent stream of biology, they are interdependent stream of biology. So this will be the concluding remark in case of the question state about the relationship in between taxonomy and systematics. I think you have understood properly whatever the relationship of the taxonomy and systematics has. Both are dependent on each other. Not without taxonomy, systematics can't run. Without systematics, taxonomy can't run. It's not possible. Okay. So whatever the portion I have just taught you today, I'm just recapitulating the point. First of all, we have discussed about the meaning of taxonomy, taxis and nomos. Taxis means arrangement, nomos means rule. Next, I have discussed about the definition of taxonomy, that is the stream of biology where we are discussing about the arrangement rules of organisms. Next, I have discussed about who has proposed taxonomy word, AP, DEC and NOLE. Next, I have told you 4 different steps of taxonomy classification, that is characterization, identification, classification and nomenclature. Next, I have told you the definition of taxon, that is the structural unit and functional unit of taxonomy classification. And then I have told you the definition of taxonomy categories. There are 7 categories. Each and every definition we have to represent, and always keep it in your mind when you are representing the definition of each and every taxon or taxonomy category. Always consider the next one so that it will be easier to write the definition. Next, I have told about taxonomic hierarchy. hierarchy, that is the linear hierarchy, because it was proposed by Carolus Linnaeus. And also I have told you why the arrangement, why the hierarchy has been made in an oblique manner or staircase-like manner, because each and every taxon is belonging from the previous taxon, or it is under the previous taxon. That's why this kind of staircase-like arrangement or oblique arrangement is present, or he has made. Next, taxonomy importance. I have told these 4 points only you will write under the importance of taxonomy. Next, systematic definition, that is the study about the interrelationship among the organisms belonging from various phylums or various taxons, are commonly known as systematics. That also I have told you. Importance of systematics. Importance of systematics means the systematics is always important to study about the relationship in between existing organisms, as well as to study the relationship in between existing and extinct organisms. So that will be very much easier for you to write the importance of systematics. And at last, how the taxonomy and systematics both are interdependent on each other, how they are related with each other. Single stream and not any specific single stream can't run without the another, that you have properly understood. So this is our total thing. I think you have understood properly today's lesson and you have enjoyed a lot in this video. Thank you everyone.